Hey Gemini, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique bringing you your September energy forecast. So coming into September, we are still in Virgo season. Virgo season is a good energy for you, seeing as Mercury, your ruler, also rules over Virgo season. It means that you're able to actually bring some of that brilliant energy from your mental plane and actually put it into action. This is where ideas actually manifest, where you're able to communicate a lot better. But we have to keep in mind that Mercury is in its pre-shadow period. That's right. You will be experiencing your ruler getting drugged at the wheel, which means that you're going to have to rely on your intuition a lot more this month, which I know is not your strongest suit. So on the 5th, we actually have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, moving into Virgo energy. This is going to be illuminating your 4th house. Now, vacations are over. Kids are going back to school. We have to come back down to earth, get back to reality. And there is a lot of rearranging, a lot of restructuring and reorganizing needed in the home and in the family dynamic. The Virgo energy helps us to get logical and practical on what it is that actually needs to be done. We have to build new routines for ourselves, whether that means, diets or exercises, whether that means just implementing new ways to float through our day so that everybody knows what is expected of them. It's imperative that you take this time to build a proper foundation on how it is that you want to run through your day-to-day life, because it's going to take the chaos out of the energy that you currently don't have to kind of come up with decisions, come up with choices, come up with directions throughout your day-to-day and instruct everyone in the home on what it is that they need to be doing. Now, Venus moving into Virgo does mean that we have to kind of take care of our own needs as well. Sometimes that means implementing routines for everyone in the home, tasks and chores for everyone in the home, so that you have a little bit more time to focus on yourself. The Virgo energy needs us to make time to balance the scales in our mind, our body, our soul. We need to be as healthy as possible. We need to take huge considerations on where our mental health situation is currently at. And Venus kind of moving into Virgo means that we're going to be able to tap into that OCD perfectionist energy in order to get our home in order. So on the 9th is when Mercury, your ruler, is going to go retrograde, this time in Libra energy. Libra energy is also an air energy, as are you, which means that this is going to be a total shutdown, if you will, a total reflection, a total revision of the mental plane. Now, this is going to be taking place in your 5th house, and let me just connect the dots for you. With everybody, Mercury going retrograde in Libra is likely to have a lot of past people, friendships, lovers, exes come back out of the woodwork, either physically or in a dream sense, in memories, flashing back. Now, in the 5th house, that is your heart chakra. That is your alignment, your true, authentic self. This is where passions and desires and romance and creativity is held. And Mercury going retrograde in Libra is taking us back. We have to revisit a couple of things. Maybe where it is that you put those walls up around that heart chakra, and maybe where it is now that you're realizing that it's not keeping people out, it's keeping you trapped in, more like a prison of your emotions, of your feelings, instead of actually guarding yourself from being hurt again. This Libran energy wants us to find peace in our circumstances, wants us to find peace with the past, wants us to compromise and cooperate with what's coming back from the past into the present moment in order to see where it is that a realignment is needed. A lot of people fear when Mercury goes retrograde, and we really shouldn't, because it only creates the change that actually gets us back on track. But I know for my Gemini friends, it's just a little bit confusing and disorienting for the mental plane to not be thinking as logically, as practically, as efficiently as you're used to. Again, this is a time where your mental plane shuts down in order for your heart to lead. Now, Mercury going retrograde in Libra has us kind of reflecting back in order for us to figure out what it is that we want to do moving forward. It's very much almost like back to the future. In order for us to figure out our plans to move forward, we have to revisit the past. So whatever craziness, whatever chaos, whatever kind of, dysfunction kind of comes up for you while Mercury is retrograde, just recognize that this is illuminating for us where it is that we need to realign, we need to readjust, maybe where we need to redo a couple of things. And where this is the 5th house, this is likely going to show you where it is that you have to make a little bit more time to do the things that you love, to make sure that you are seeking joy, seeking pleasure, where it is that you are doing things that make your heart happy as well as make your, I'm going to say, bank account happy. This is also a time to reconsider your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, towards past pain and trauma that was created in relationships in order for you to kind of cleanse that and drop that baggage so that you can move on freely without your past dictating for you what it is that your future is actually able to manifest for you. Now, keep in mind, Mercury will be moving back into Virgo energy, into its place of power towards the end of the month. So it is likely that we are going to feel and live in the extremes while we're in this Libran energy, and whatever pops off, whatever illuminates to us needs to be changed, needs to be redone, or is broken will be fixed and resolved when Mercury moves back into that Virgo energy. But first, we have the full moon taking place in Pisces on September 10th. Now, this is going to be a good energy for you because I feel like this is illuminating your 10th house, which is your career, your finances, the roles and responsibilities in your life. I feel like the full moon, especially in Pisces, is an ending. It is a closure point. It is also a peak point of creativity. And it means that our intuitions are going to be super, super strong, which is going to bode very well for you, seeing that your mental plane isn't going to be as strong and relied upon as you normally like to lean into that part of the logical, practical intellect. But the full moon in Pisces, it's taken us back to February, to March of this year. We began something in a career sense. We maybe were trying to upgrade our skills. We were taking on different roles and responsibilities that, has kind of played its course. And the full moon in Pisces is here to illuminate where it is that, we've done some growth, where it is that we've had some experiences, where we've learned certain spiritual lessons, especially where the career is concerned. But now we're ready to make a change. We're ready to boss up into new karma, into new roles and responsibilities. Hopefully money matters improve with the changes that we're looking to make as well. And where creative energy is coming in, it is definitely a prime time to kind of infuse our careers, our jobs, our roles and responsibilities with a little bit more fun, with a little bit more flair. So the full moon in Pisces is going to kind of show you where there is a transformation needed in this 10th house of career, of finances, of roles and responsibilities. But again, we're in a retrograde with all of the other major heavy hitting planets in a retrograde. So this is kind of a reflection on where it is that we've been, where it is that we've come from, what it is that we like to do in the past, what it is that we fell away from. And having these realizations, we can bring forth those elements, integrate them in such a way to kind of rebirth our careers, so to speak. So on the 22nd, we have Libra season kicking off. And Libra season, being an air season, is going to work very well for you, even considering that, yes, your ruler is retrograde. Now, Libra season is very focused on relationships, the relationship that we have with ourselves, but of course, the relationship that we have of other people, realizing that the people that we surround ourselves with act as a mirror for the inner work that we need to do. It teaches us a lot about ourselves. The relationship dynamic is usually the main point of Libra season, but also where legalities are concerned. So any kind of legal aspects, documents, contracts usually come up for us in Libra season. And Libra season also triggers the fall equinox, which essentially gives us an even playing field. We get to kind of start over. We get to kind of, see where the extremes, where we've been living in extremes, have affected us dramatically, and where we're able to find a middle point, a common ground again. This is going to be affecting your 5th house, which is that heart chakra. Let me just kind of spoil it for you now. The major life lessons coming at you this month are between your home and your family dynamic, the changes that have taken place within the home and the family dynamic or that need to take place, and the direct impact of your heart chakra, both dealing with past pain, past trauma, what it is that you're willing to kind of feel in order to heal and work through in order to open you up to new passions and new desires. So having Libra season kind of crack open this 5th house, this is going to be a lot of focus, a lot of reflection on relationships and the impact that that has actually had on your heart space. And again, really taking a good look of whether those walls, that guard is needed around that heart space and whether or not it's still making you feel safe and secure or whether it's making you feel trapped and kind of prisoner-like. And the 5th house is also where we need to kind of be a little bit more playful, where we need to kind of lighten the vibe a little bit. And where the Libran energy is concerned, we like to kind of keep things light and fluffy anyways. So this does kind of speak to a little bit about being able to smooth over maybe some relationships that haven't been going well, to balance the scales of the energy exchange in our personal relationships that maybe we've been kind of holding a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of the past on our heart space. It is time to release that, balance the scales, make peace with it, find harmony, and really get back to doing the things that bring us happiness, bring us joy. So on the 23rd is when Mercury, your ruler, retrogrades back into Virgo energy. This is going to be, again, the 4th house. So it's almost like, things popped off, things got a little bit cray-cray, we lived into extremes a little bit, relationships were popping off, maybe some aspects from the past came back to haunt us or to teach us a different lesson or to show us how far we've grown and improved. Whatever got illuminated, whatever craziness popped off, whatever broken issues we were illuminated to, we move back into this Virgo energy, which is the fixer and the healer of our physical realms, of our mental health, and of our physical bodies. And in the 4th house, definitely there is more of a focus bringing you back to the home life, looking at the family dynamics, the relationships within the home, maybe where some boundaries need to be created and implemented in order to, protect the stability within the home, but it's also showing us again where it is that we have to do a little bit more work on taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, making sure that we're operating from a state of wholeness before we go ahead and extend our energy, our power out to other people. This is going to feel a little bit heavy in the mental plane because we do have to get back down to earth and start kind of, moving through the details of what is all transpired, what it is we need to do here. This is a full reorg, a full restructuring of the home and comfort zone, and maybe kind of redoing some of the things that you tried to do at the beginning of the month as far as routines were concerned that just didn't get off to the best start. On the 25th, we have the new moon taking place in Libra. And again, 5th house issues. So this is actually closing a 2.5-year chapter that we just kind of went through. And we are setting up a beautiful opportunity to set some intentions for the next 2 years. So, we're talking about Libran topics, which is relationships and love and peace and harmony and keeping things light and where it is that we have to cooperate and compromise in order to keep a level playing field and not live in extremes. And where this is the 5th house, this is about your heart chakra, the pain, the suffering, the trauma that's accumulated around the heart chakra, that emotional baggage, sorting through it, seeing what can stay, what can go. This is about you tapping into new levels of creativity, on being able to kind of implement new ways of doing things in your life to achieve balance. This is, again, the playful vibe that we need to bring back. Things things have gotten super serious, super somber. We need to be a little bit more childlike, if you will. And we really need to kind of realign. That's what retrograde season is all about. Realign with what makes us happy, with what our heart and soul actually desires and what it is that we actually want to pursue from here. And then on the 29th, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, moving into Libran energy as well. This is her place of power. So we're all going to get a little bit of a glow up. And in this particular energy, again, in the 5th house, this would mean that it is time to open up your heart a little bit wider. Okay. We're going to heal some of that past pain trauma, which means you have space to let new people in or to let existing people get closer. This is also a time where, you know what, your creativity is popping off. So if you're into art or music or, you know, just the beautiful, finer things in life, you're really going to be inspired with some beautiful ideas that you're actually going to be able to bring into reality, into manifestation because of the Virgo energy that Mercury is currently in. It's going to bode very well for you. So, you know, anytime that Venus is in Libra, yeah, we're a little bit more indecisive, but at the same time, you're already feeling like you can't rely on making solid decisions because your ruler is retrograde. You're going to have to feel your way through this month. You have the heart chakra popping off, your mental plane shut down, your intuition is peaking. We have all kinds of different, you know, sensitivities, psychic abilities coming online. You're really going to have to navigate this month according to what feels good, what feels happy, what brings joy and happiness into your heart space. And Venus being in Libra, especially in the 5th house, is a perfect time to connect with new people, especially in a romantic sense, if you're open to that, new friends that are of like mind that are great to bounce ideas off of. And basically, we just need to learn to fall in love with love again. Not love in a romantic sense, but love with ourselves, love with our lives, love with the smaller things in life. And again, this 5th house, your heart chakra, is going to be your compass in order to navigate what it is you actually want to do moving forward. So what I will say to you is that essentially you are in an adjustment period. Things are ending. Things haven't quite begun. Now, that being said, in retrograde season, we're having to look back in order to figure out our future. I do feel like you're making peace with a lot of the struggles, a lot of the hardships that have kind of weighed very heavily on your headspace and on your heart space. I think that you are going through a rebirth, a realignment, a recalibration. That is all the natural words that would come with a retrograde, especially where your ruler is kind of, you know, slipping into the unconscious realms to let your intuition, to let your heart space kind of lead this next chapter. Lean all the way into your feelings, lean all the way into your intuition, because what I'm kind of getting at is that this is going to allow you to see things from a different perspective that you wouldn't have otherwise seen if you had the logic and practicality of your intellect to constantly make sense of things. Sometimes things aren't supposed to make sense. Sometimes feelings aren't supposed to make sense. Sometimes you can't compartmentalize your thoughts and your feelings. Sometimes you just have to sit in it. You have to experience it. And I feel like this month is what is the goal for you to do, is to feel what it is that you can't think your way through. When it comes to your home and your family environment, I do feel like you are kind of bringing things to an end. Again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know, vacation time is over. That's ending. We have to get back down to reality. That kind of sucks. New routines kind of suck, right? Like we literally have a reality check coming to us. But I also feel that you're a little bit more introverted, which is natural because Mercury, again, is retrograde. You're inside of yourself. I feel like you're going to be a little bit less social, which is absolutely natural for Mercury being retrograde as well. Because I think you need to take a time out. I think the summer has been a little bit crazy and chaotic. I think you need to kind of get back in touch with you. This is a reconnection time, a readjustment time, a refocusing time. And again, there are some choices, some decisions that need to be made on what it is that you want to do from here. But you haven't taken the time to quiet the mind and listen to your heart space in order to figure out what that actually is. I think you're on the right track with it. I think that, this whole month is going to reveal to you what the right path for you is. I just feel like you need to give yourself permission to not think your way through it and instead feel your way through it. When it comes to your career, I feel like you're being kind of torn between two different choices, two different paths. Again, with the full moon in Pisces illuminating the 10th house of career, it does feel like there are certain aspects that are ending, a certain closure coming to maybe some roles, some responsibilities or positions altogether. I feel like this is both a just kind of like a bittersweet thing. Like you're definitely outgrown certain aspects where you do feel like a change is needed in order to inspire you again, to channel that creativity that you once had. But I also feel that you're being torn between your home life and your work life. Maybe you need to be home more, for the kids or for your own mental health. Maybe you need a work from home position so that you're not outside in social situations and being kind of overstimulated. Whatever the case may be, there is a certain amount of, I'm going to say, reevaluation and judgment needed for you to be the judge and jury on your own life and pick apart the good, the bad, the ugly of your current career position and recognize that there is an opportunity for you right now to give birth to and create a brand new foundation on what it is that you actually do for a living. And, you do have a lot of positive elements working for you in retrograde season because it is a realignment with your mission and with your purpose. But it does kind of feel a little bit crazy, a little bit chaotic to actually make those decisions when your mental plane isn't as strong as you usually are used to. When it comes to the relationship factor of your life, I feel that there is a lot of reflection. Again, retrograde season, especially in Libra, and then we have Libra season. There's a lot of reflection on your past romantic experiences. And I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup, a little bit of a wake up. I don't know if that means that you have an ex coming back to disrupt your life in good, bad, or otherwise ways. I don't know if that means that suddenly you're going to have a dream that just makes you feel like you're, 5 years ago in that horrible relationship in order for you to see how far you've come and how far you've grown. Whatever the shakeup is, whatever the disruption is, whatever the unexpected event is, it's a promising one that actually sets you up for blessings that you don't even know that you should be praying for, to be honest with you. They're showing me the number 5 in this area as well. And that is no coincidence, seeing that your heart chakra is definitely on spot and on focus this month. I'm just going to say you got to lean into the feels. You can't think your way through feeling. And I know my Gemini friends like to make sense of everything and use logic and practicality to even sort through their emotions. This month, it ain't happening for you. You may as well surrender to just going on the roller coaster of the ups and downs of your emotions, past, present, and future. So what I will leave you with is that this is an opportunity for you to start over in a lot of ways. Start over in examining what it is that you actually want, need, and desire, what it is that actually makes you happy, what it is that actually brings a spark, a passion, a fire to your life. This is a time for you to balance the scales, between your heart and your head. With the head shut down and your heart leading, this is a prime opportunity to recognize where it is that you live in extremes, allowing your head space to lead you all the time, and where it is that letting your heart and your intuition to lead every now and then isn't such a bad deal. It will show you where and what and who is worth your time, your energy, your love, your attention, your affection, and what it is that you need to pour more into. I do understand that there is a want, need, and desire to keep everything the same, but you are a sign that needs constant change, constant stimulation. Now, granted, it would be good if you were the one creating the change instead of the change, coming at you without you having an option of whether you wanted to deal with it or not. But what I will say is that you just have to learn to roll with the punches, because by the end of September, especially as we're moving into the final months of this year, there's going to be some craziness and chaos that just, pops off outside of our control. And it is absolutely absolutely necessary that we take this month to ground ourselves out, to focus on what it is we actually want for ourselves, what direction we actually want to take, because we're going to get rocked here in October, especially. And it would be good for you to at least have a good idea on what would bring you closer to or further away from your great grand dream, vision, and goal. So that's all I have for you this month, Gemini. I hope you roll with the punches. I hope you let your heart lead, and I hope you have a beautiful month. We'll talk to you soon.